This week in the cool stuff, I sat down with poet and multiple award-winning playwright and director Napo Masheane at Café Noir to talk about why so many refuse to acknowledge the rape of Khwezi and why she adapted Ridi Klabe's book on the story.
You know, for most of us who lived through the trial, and for most of us who got an opportunity to read the book, you realize that, of course, we know that Khwezi was not her real name. Her real name was Khuzwayo. And that's what also, you know, attracted me actually to the book, the fact that most of us have always known her as Khwezi. And you start realizing that there's so many Khwezis, but what's her real name? And I sort of felt like, okay, this is actually the title of the play, away from the book, but also when you give Fezekile a face, a human face, a sisterhood face, a woman face, a warrior face, you want her to reclaim herself throughout the play and for the audience to walk away knowing and calling her by her real name. And that's how the title really came about.
You were incredibly determined to hold men, particularly men in power, to account. Talk to me about how that theme comes through in the play.
So when I read the book, as you've said, when Ridi for the first time unlocked and opened this world of, this is an ordinary woman, this is a girlfriend next door, but when you start understanding what led to the night when she ended up in Forest Town, you realize that this is a story of any woman who stood against power. But also, Karima, more importantly, rape is not just, when you speak against rape, you also try to show the world, and I wanted to show my community in South Africa that it can be the most powerful man, but also a criminal or somebody who sexually violates somebody else could be somebody in a suit. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a hobo, it's somebody with nothing, especially when we talk about sexual violence historically. There's always dynamics and layers of power into it. Somebody has something that the victim wants. But when it comes to the law and how the law judges, the law makes the victim the perpetrator. We need to start calling into order and accountable men within our circles, but even men who constantly use their power, whether economic power or power in a workspace, to say that we see you. Yes. We know you, and we will start believing the victims and listening and making sure that you are held accountable.
Now, of course, casting must have been a really tough task. The people that you chose, particularly the actors that you chose to play Khwezi, former President Zuma, Dr. Zweli Mkhize, how did you eventually decide on the people that you, chose?
There are people within this industry, and when I say this industry, TV and mostly theater, that have been, witnessing their work, the way they carry themselves, the level of commitment, the talent itself. So I called 40 actors and actresses and said that, come to my auditions. They didn't know what they were auditioning for. And when they all came at the State Theatre, I said to them, this is what you're auditioning for. And I'm sharing with you the passion and the eagerness I have for this story. You need to make sure that when you get chosen, you give all of yourself. Now I'm giving you an opportunity to decide if you still want to audition or not, because it's not by mistake that you're here. Yes. Of course, some left, some didn't make it, but for those who made it, it was through a whole 7-hour audition of sing, dance, go read this monologue, go do this line, go share this, go do that, until I said to my creative team, I think I found my JZ. So I found JZ first, and it was JT Midupi. He didn't see it coming. Wow. And then in terms of Fezekile, played by Nompumelelo Mayani, she was the third one. Wow. So the first person I wanted to play Khwezi couldn't make it to auditions. The third one came for a couple of weeks, but was too busy. And then I called Mpumi. I've known Nompumelo since she was 10. We did a cultural exchange in UCLA in California. And when one of the cast members said, you want a triple threat, somebody who can sing, dance, and act, there is Nompumelelo. And I called, I said, are you available? She said, I'm available. She came through, and the musical director, Aza, started playing on the keyboard, saying, sing this song, sing that. The minute she started singing, everybody cried. And I said, Fezekile chose you. So Nompumelelo was not chosen by me. She, in the spiritual realm of art, she was really brought to us by Khwezi.
This play has only been seen at State Theatre in Pretoria. Any plans to take it anywhere else in the country or even to other parts of the world?
I think it will be a shame if the country doesn't witness this play, if the world, because when you talk about sexual violence, it's a global phenomenon, it's a global crisis.
We saw that with the Me Too movement.
Come on, everywhere in the world, constantly, the total shutdown movement, the women in Uganda, the women in the States, the women in the European women, all of us, and the Dutch Surinamese women, all of us, when you talk and speak from an authentic space, it's another woman's story. And that voice needs to be witnessed.
One of the poems that fascinated me was your poem called Fat Love. Would you mind reciting that poem for me? It's my absolute favorite.
Where I come from, hearts are chained together, beating in one rhythm, searching words like fat music. So this is for fat girls who hold the sun entwined in their arms, carrying people's names in their calves, laughing hard when the music sings our fears. Their beauty conceived of madness, sunset shakes, mouthful, bodies living through lessons. So this is for fat girls, the lady who is my aunt, an old woman, my grandmother, the wife, my neighbor, my soldier, the prophet, my mother, every witch healer I have ever met. Anyway, Ubajwe said that we are thighs thick, butt huge, waist tight, breast tall, walk styled, voices loud, neck thick, mind slick, lip thick, nose broad, feet long. That we are creators of lullabies born at the baseline between the composers of this love called love.
That was, of course, Napo Masheane, of course, the playwright there of that fantastic play, Say My Name. Well, Peter, you want to talk about rugby.
Yeah.
We apparently played Argentina. We well, but not well enough.
Well, we won, but I mean, I thought we were pathetic, actually. And of course, everybody was cheerful and happy, and, you know, nobody sort of produces stinging commentary on the TV, otherwise you lose the rights to broadcast. But what happens in this game, I know that rugby is not central to your life, but we basically, so this is the Rugby Championship. New Zealand, Australia, Argentina, South Africa play each other twice, and, you know, New Zealand wins. But coming second is really important. and we have there are lots of, there's a new coach and a new captain. We all know about that. It's all very exciting. But I just hope that Elton Yankees doesn't get lost in the sort of fervour for this fellow Andre Pollard, who I don't think is very good at all, but who's now the number one choice is fly half, which is the link between the scrum and the rest of the ball. There's a very exciting young man called Damian Willemse from the Sharks, who came on late and was just absolutely electrifying right from the start. I hope that
he gets more chances to play.
Well, I hope Willemse and Yankees too, because I don't think Pollard did anything. He had 3 or 4 kicks at goal, and he missed them.
Well, that's where we leave it. We, of course, looking forward to the Zondo Commission. That's your fix for the week. Take care and good night. We'll see you again on Sunday.